John Lusk here of Lusk Archery Adventures. Series testing, successful hunting. Today I'm going to be testing another head by Tooth of the Arrow. It's been out for a while. It's one I've used successfully in the field with a lot of animals, as well as it's always tested well for me in the lab. And with my 2026 process, I'm taking some of the broadheads that have performed the best in years gone by and retesting them with my new process. And that's what I'm doing with this Tooth of the Arrow 1-inch solid 100 grain 4-blade broadhead. Okay, kind of a mouthful, but man, it's one of their original designs. Really eager to put this to the test and see how it does. I've loved Tooth of the Arrow broadhead so much that years ago I reached out to him and asked him if they would give me a discount code that I could pass on to you as my viewers, and they agreed. So if you use the discount code LUSK10, LUSK10, you can save 10% on any order of any of their broadheads. I'm going to be using my 2026 broadhead test process. And for a detailed description of that, please check out the video I posted earlier this year called 2026 Broadhead Test Process, and it'll walk you through all the tests that I do, why I do them, how I do them, and so forth. I'm going to be using my Elite Eon Compound bow for the vertical bow shooting, and for the crossbow shooting, I'm using my Ravin LR crossbow at 450 feet per second. I'm using Bishop Archery arrows for all the compound bow shooting. Let's zoom on in here, check out this 100 grain Tooth of the Arrow, and then put it to the test. Here's a good look at this 100 grain model, and man, this is just a fantastic broadhead. They also make this in a vented model, and they make it where the blades are vented, and they make it in solid in 125 grain and 150 grain as well. So let's start with the materials. This is machined out of a single bar of high carbon steel, and then it's fully heat treated. And the dimensions, the diameter is 1 inch, so 1 inch both ways, and the length on it, like from the end of the arrow on out, is under 0.8 of an inch. It's 0.78 inches by my measurement. So super short profile is going to aid in flight because there's less exposed surface area, and it's going to aid in penetration through drier mediums. Like liquid-based mediums sometimes do better with a longer, narrower broadhead, but like shorter, compact ones do better in like where friction's more of an issue, like hide or bone or something like that. So it depends on the medium which is going to benefit you. What I found in penetration is these penetrate extremely well because the ferrules are so thick and they open up in 4 different directions. These blades, they open up a great wound channel for the arrow shaft to glide right through. So it really helps in penetration, again, in certain mediums. Now the blade thickness is 0.040 inches, which is a little thicker than most broadheads. That's nice. And again, this is the solid non-vented version, which allows for quieter flight and a little bit better durability. What they did when they started like with a heavier 125, 150 grain in the non-vented model, and they found that they can just take a little bit of scoop out of the ferrule. You can see those scoops in the ferrule. They can take a little bit more material out, and that's where they shave the weight, and they still keep the blades just as thick and just as solid, not vented. So it's a really good design there. One of the things that also helps with its flight is that so much of the weight is in the center ferrule area that it's very concentric, and the blades stick out just a short distance, and most of the weight is right there in the center, so it spins very true and stays on track, doesn't veer off track, doesn't tend to plane as much as other broadheads. I've taken a lot of animals with this 100 grain. I've taken a lot with the vented 100 grain, with the 125 grain, and I've taken a lot of animals with these, especially hogs, taken a lot of hogs, and they've always performed extremely well. I've also used this 1 inch, the 125 grain model, but 1 inch to take a couple elk and I had it zip right through a couple elk. It did very well on those. So really trusted Broadhead when it comes to my quiver. Now, in terms of resharpening, they sell a sharpener that makes it a lot easier to sharpen. And these bevels are 45 degrees. So like if you have a one-piece 3-blade head, it's a 60-degree bevel. That's only going to get so sharp, but a one-piece 4-blade head has a little bit steeper bevel, so you can't lay it flat and sharpen it like you would a 3-blade. It's not that 60 degree, it's 45 degree. But they make a broadhead sharpener where you can lay it flat on the sharpener with the angle to the stones and sharpen it that way. And they tend to work really well. The price of these comes out to $16 per head, but they give me a discount code because I'm a loyal fan and refer a lot of people to them. So if you use the discount code LUSK10 when you're checking out from their website, it'll save you 10%. Really look forward to putting this 100 grain model to the test and seeing how it performs. With my Elite compound bow, it drilled the bullseye. And with the Ravin at 450 feet per second, it just missed the bullseye. I mean, by the skin of its teeth. It got the 10, but just missed the bullseye. It took 290 grams of force to cut through the wire, which is a 9.1 on a 10-point scale. It penetrated right at 8 inches. I know it doesn't look exactly like that in this video, but that's just the way the lens lines up. It did penetrate 8 inches. It took an additional 41 grams of force to cut through the wire, which is a 9.18 on a 10-point scale. It penetrated through 71 layers, which is a perfect score of 10 on a 10-point scale, plus a bonus for being over the threshold of 70. Now, this is actually the 125 grain, but it penetrated exactly the same as the 100 grain. The head's in excellent shape after the 3 shots through the MDF. And there's still 0 damage after the 2 shots through the steel plate. And man, I just love these holes. Man, Tooth of the Arrow makes some of the best holes there is in the steel plate. It just makes square cutouts in the steel. And that's what I found it does in animals as well. The internal damage is just extraordinary. And for comparative sake, I'm going to show you a picture of a Slick Trick 150 grain Magnum and the holes that it made. Really impressive holes as well, but they're more slits than they are just a square cut out, and I found that does make a difference in the animals. This is the 1-inch 100 grain after all the durability tests, and just did fantastic through the MDF. There was no damage to the steel plate. There's no damage. The cinder block, it penetrated really deeply, and it got a little bit of edge chatter right there. You can see on that one blade, and another little tiny bit of chatter on that blade. So not perfect in the durability testing, but very, very close. Really impressive durability. So what'd you think? Man, this is a good broadhead. This is just a solid, no-nonsense, get-her-done kind of broadhead. It just performs so well. Every time I test it, I'm like reminded like what a good broadhead it is. And I ask myself, man, why don't you keep using that in the field? There's just so many good broadheads, but this really is one of my favorites, the 100 grain, the 125 grain, as well as the XL. I love all of them, and I'm going to be retesting all of them. But hey, you check out the score sheet and see how it performed in the areas that matter to you the most. See if it might be a good fit for you. And stay tuned for a summary of the score sheet. You can find the detailed breakdown in the video description. But stay tuned for the summary as well as the overall cumulative score. Got a really good one. And the corresponding LUSK grade. And also stay tuned for a list of all the discount codes that I can offer. Like for Tooth of the Arrow, LUSK10 saves 10% on any broadheads. I just want to help you save some money in the field. Hey, thanks for tuning in. I look forward to seeing you next time.